I'm not sure if you guys have noticed, but the past 24 hours have been absolutely filled with just absolutely crazy crypto news. So for example, one of the announcements that came out just now was what you can see right here. And on its own, it's a pretty massive deal, but for some reason, nobody's making a big fuss out of it, and it's making me kind of pissed off. So what basically is happening over the past few hours, I'll show you more of these examples as we move on here, is all these agencies are starting to showcase just how excited they are for crypto on the one side, but also they're literally showing you where their money is at, right? So you can already see it. I don't even want to say it yet. Let's first quickly show this. So Abu Dhabi's sovereign wealth fund bought $450 million worth of Bitcoin ETFs in the first quarter of the year. Now, I'm not sure what else I can tell you except for the idea that if this would have happened a few years ago, just based on this announcement alone, there would be people screaming on the streets with their billboards or whatever the frick, screaming about how amazing it was. And right now the market is moving up ever so slightly. We're doing okay, a little bit. But basically, people have gotten used to all these crazy announcements coming out. Can you get that the freaking sovereign wealth fund of Abu Dhabi, just absolutely huge here, is buying $500 million worth of Bitcoin for their fund? And we're thinking, you know what? Let's Let's just stay for what it is. Man, I don't get what makes people excited nowadays anymore. I don't get what can make you more excited than these type of announcements. But to just quickly continue on with yet another one, because it's just absolutely massive. Crypto custody State Street and Citibank step into digital asset management. State Street and Citibank, two major players in the financial sector, have announced plans to introduce cryptocurrency custody services. This move is indicative of a broader trend amongst large U.S. banks to expand into digital assets management, aligning with a more crypto-friendly regulatory environment expected in 2026. Because indeed, an announcement came out a bit later that State Street is going to launch their digital asset custody in 2026, and that Citibank was just exploring it basically as of this point. But again, all these announcements a few years ago would have been just breaking all the bells and whistles, would have gotten everybody crazy, and right now it just seems like another nice day. And that leads me on to the next announcement. Again, all this came out in like a span of 24 hours. It's too much positive news. I can't fathom why the price is not reacting, crazier to all this. It's actually massive, I mean, sometimes I'm joking saying, oh, this is a pretty big deal. This is pretty big. No, but this is just absolutely huge. And I guess right now, over the past few minutes, XRP, etc., are starting to pick back up a little bit, because I'm looking through it here and we can see over the past few hours, it's back up from 267 to about 275 or so. So it's back up roughly 3% or so over the past few hours. So it's starting to look good, sure. But if we take a look at the broader market, let's quickly refresh this and take a look at how our coins are developing. So Trump coin is actually up 50% today. WIF is up almost 30% today. Jupiter is up 20% today. So I guess overall, it's definitely not too bad of a day, with only a couple of coins seeing some slight downturn. But I'm going to say only 3-4 coins here are down, of which one is gold. So basically nothing is really moving down here. Everything is going up. And a lot of coins are in the double digits, but it's also nice to see XRP being one of the best gainers here out of everything. Because indeed, the last few days we've been talking about how the XRP ETF race is now very much on its way, all right? We've been speculating about it for a long time, but it's definitely coming along. And the most recent announcement that came out from the SEC was, as y'all can see right here, the SEC Crypto Task Force is basically, like we've stated for a while, it's just a matter of time before all these cryptos where ETFs have been filed for, that first of all, they'll be approved, and second of all, before just more and more options for them will be coming. And right now, them talking about staking in these exchange-traded products, it's the start of just so much more for the crypto space in terms of investments from traditional investors. And I keep saying as well, don't think that it's not going to be completely different in a year or two from now. So, a couple of clickbaiters are out there, and they're basically stating that Garlinghouse, the current CEO of Ripple, might actually quit working for his current company, Ripple, to join basically Trump. So there was a rumor going around that Brad Garlinghouse will step down as Ripple CEO and join the White House Crypto Advisory Council this year. Now, there's been no confirmation of any of this at all. It's just that there's been a thing going around that he might be on set to become the White House Crypto Advisory Council's president, or at least on that board of sorts. And now some people have added, hey, he's going to stop from Ripple. Blah, 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 blah. Now, again, just from a money perspective, I'm thinking, why would he do that? Because I think he can make way more money at Ripple. And also, perhaps you can do two things at the same time. I don't think it's allowed to, though, because if you're working at a crypto company, it's kind of iffy-wiffy if you're also on that board. But then again, I keep thinking, how can he even be, in the race to become something like a advisor of a crypto board when you're this close to a cryptocurrency yourself? You're always going to be biased. And then I kept thinking, if that's the case, isn't it really quite true, in all these cases, that most likely Trump and the people leading this, they are probably having their best eye out for coins like XRP and probably other coins made in the US as well? Because think about it. Why would you want to have this bias? It's the same like saying, we're going to have Tether, somebody from Tether or one of their spearheads on the board. Well, if you really don't want Tether to succeed, you really think it's all a scam, first of all, you're not going to let that person on the board, especially not if other parts of your government or your agencies are going to start up a lawsuit against them soon. You don't want that person on your board who's literally advocating for something illegal, most likely then, because you're suing them for it, and which you're against, right? You don't want that person because he's going to have bias towards it, which would be annoying. So it kept resonating in my head thinking, doesn't that most likely mean as well, if something like this were to be true, that most likely things are just going to work out fine and beautifully for Ripple/XRP? And then I keep looking back at the SEC right now, acknowledging the XRP ETF remarks and Brad Garlinghouse's recent tweets. It's just all starting to connect. And I keep rephrasing it. I keep trying to say it in whatever words I can of right now this market looks way too bearish, right? Way too neutral for how bullish the announcements are that keep coming out. The market's just way, way, way too beautiful here in terms of news and announcements, but many people seem to just not be realizing it in terms of price action. Having said that, I'll quickly say, if you're looking for a platform to trade on, check out the link down below to Blowfin. It's the platform we are using to trade right now, as there's a trading competition going on right now, and we are in the second place actually when it comes to our team's P&L right now. In terms of volume, I think we are 5th or so, but most likely as this campaign moves on, there could actually be very, very significant rewards. And the last time we did win, I don't know, maybe $10,000 or so. I also did a $10,000 giveaway. Maybe we won one more. But this time around, it's a way bigger campaign. And it could actually be really, really sizable, which is why I kept saying, if you're trading anyway, make sure you join our team down below. You might win yourself a couple of juicy prizes. And if you're wondering what is next for XRP, we keep saying that most likely, not too long in the distant future here, there'll just be some sort of settlement on the Ripple front. Or let me rephrase that differently. There'll most likely be the SEC taking the lawsuit back. I mean, we've seen too many pictures of the guys at Ripple meeting with Trump and things being bullish for these other companies that have taken, or I should say, other companies that previously had some issues with the SEC. For the most part, even Crypto.com, I believe, said, hey, we had a good meeting with Trump. I keep thinking most likely there won't really be any new SEC lawsuit against a crypto company for a while because the SEC is trying to revamp. And since Coinbase recently won one of their motions, I believe, they're basically going to have to specify these new rules for the crypto space. If you keep adding it up, and I like to keep doing that every single day, people are negative here, but I don't understand why. Most likely, we are right now witnessing the craziest move ever for crypto. It's just been gearing up for a little while. And if you're not excited right here, then really think about yourself or think for yourself properly as to why not. Is it because the price is not moving fast enough for you? But I kept saying, most likely it's gearing up for something faster. Right now, on the short term, we are still looking to break some of these previous high points, right? Like we've established on this Bybit chart here for XRP. We right now have a beautiful bounce coming from $2.26, $28, something like that. And the trend is looking beautiful. But we do want to break away from the previous top as well. So let me just say it like this. On the short term, it seems this previous top here is what's holding us back at roughly $2.72, something like that, right? You can see right here, the previous top we had on the daily was right around this level. We retested it another time, and right now we're facing some issues there, just like how we saw it back in the beginning of February. But after that, the, I guess, quickest or easiest point to see afterwards is basically the highest point XRP has seen in a very, very long time at roughly $3.30 or so. But again, we want to get past that pretty quickly as well. We basically want to, right now, move past this level, perhaps bounce off it once more, get towards the $3.30 level, perhaps bounce from that again, it's okay. But afterwards, once we get above there, we want to quickly go towards the $3.80, something like that mark, to basically either continue on with the trend or hopefully break out from there, but it will depend on what Bitcoin is going to do. But even if it turns out we cannot break this, then at least I hope we just bounce back off of $3.30 or so instead of course, just breaking back down. But as long as we do not make a bottom below $2.30 or so, this uptrend is still intact. That has basically started since the beginning of December. Well, fun fact, it started way earlier, somewhere in November, but from December is basically the current trend that we've got ongoing. Before that, from the beginning of November, it was a bit more exponential, and now it's a bit more stretched out. It's taken a bit more time. But generally speaking, the whole bullish narrative hasn't really gone away for XRP yet. It all depends on where it ends up on, the medium term here. If we get below $2 or so in like a slow bleed manner like this, like what we saw previously, I would get a bit more scared, but as it currently stands, it's still looking extremely, extremely solid. And I've still got all my thumbs up right now for how the price is going. But yeah, guys, I'll talk about it more a bit later. Right now, I just wanted to bring to y'all's attention of what is going on in the background. All these funds are entering so much bullish news, so many good announcements. Either you get it or you don't, man. That's all I can say about that. And I really think it won't be too long before we look back at this list and we're back up with plus 40s all across the board. I mean, today is a day already a lot of people did not expect to see for a long time. A day where some of the meme coins are up 40, 30% or so. Again, we're waiting for this utility run where a lot of our coins like XRP just go on a crazy spree again. It's not here. And many meme coins still are down 50, 60% or so from their high points. So we're definitely not in the craziest spots yet. But I still keep reminding people that this is the area where the value plays shine, where if you buy a coin, most likely over a few weeks or months, you're going to be up a ton. On the short term, it might be wobbly because, again, it's not the season where everything just pumps blindly, but it's the season of buying things that are quite, quote unquote, undervalued or in a good, valuable spot. But yeah, that's about it for right now. Hopefully you guys are all excited. GameStop also studying to buy Bitcoin. Man, it's just so many bullish announcements all across the board. The new BNB season is reliving itself. We're finally seeing growth in the top 100 again. Things are starting to look good, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're excited, because I definitely am.